Okay, it is 9:46 a.m. and I had one trade with AABB and this one did not work out. This was in theory a morning panic bounce play. It didn't necessarily have 3 green days in a row, which I took into consideration. It also doesn't have the best daily chart, so it was less likely for this one to work. But the thing going for it was that it did have volume. The price action didn't look horrible. And even when it's not doing anything significant on a daily chart, it still offers a lot of times morning panic bounce plays. I did consider this one and I bought 3,000 shares at 940 and that was at 707. So right here I was in at 707 and it looked like it was trying to do the morning panic bounce play. It already got past this trend line right here. It was already consolidating, and if I were to have maybe have adjusted the trend line here and did it off of these two candles, it would still be past it or just about to get past it. And of course, ideally, it will make a move towards VWAP. And this one did not work out, although maybe it can try again later. I also had a trend line right here, and I got out of it at 943 when it looked like it was going to break this 7 cent level. And also, there was something that was not ideal. This is about the time that I got out of my position. A whole bunch of sellers showed up at the ask. There was one with 100,000, one with 100,000, and then there was another one that's not here that had 500,000 shares at the ask. So I saw all of those big sellers show up at the ask. People continued to dump their shares. It looked like it was going to break the 7 cent level, and it did. Not at 943, but the next minute at 944 it did, and it got a bit lower. But I mean, sure, it can try to turn around now and try to make the move later, and maybe I'll consider it. But since it didn't work the first time, I'm less interested in trying it for that reason, and I'll continue to watch it. However, I don't see anything else with the other OTCs. Maybe this could be like a double bottom, but I don't necessarily want to trade this one because it looked like something that would have a bunch of little baby spikes and then sell off like it did here. It did here, and with a decent amount of volume too. So I'm not necessarily interested in doing anything with this one. But I will make an update and I'll keep watching AABB. Alright, it is 12:01 p.m. and I had a trade with NICH and I was watching GXXY. I actually just hesitated on this one, and I guess I'm gonna have to knock myself some points for that because I mean the setup is working and I think I still have a screenshot. There was a lot of people supporting this. This was something that had a nice uptrend over a pretty short period of time, and then it had this big sell-off, and it was right around the support range. As you can tell, there's plenty of support from this level right here, and when it was down at this price point, it did look kind of nice in the level 2 because there was as you can tell, a lot of support in the 22s, 22.6, 22.55, 22.5, another one, 22.4. Even the further part of the level 2 was still showing support at 22. And then there would be this one person at 24. And I hesitated it, and it is uptrending. 25.5 is at the bid right now, which wouldn't be that much, but it's still uptrending because 24 is 60, and then 25 was 62, and this thing can't continue the uptrend. It got as high as what, 26.5 ish. So this thing can continue to work out over a longer period of time, but I would be very iffy with this one because it just doesn't have that much volume, and I don't like the way it's just shooting up. The goal will be VWAP though, and best case scenario it gets above VWAP as well. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. I did have a verified cancel. I did try to buy at 24.79. I was at 11.59, but I wasn't able to get filled anymore once it was starting to break past 24. But I wonder what this one will do, if it will continue the uptrend, if it's just going to be a small little blip right here and then it fails. I have no idea, but I'll make an update later. And I did like how it broke this trend line and then it kind of got out of it a little and then it continued the downtrend. But now at this point, when it was consolidating in the 22s, it was further away from this trend line, so it wasn't following it anymore. And we even had a wick right here with max volume in the 22. So There was a lot of reasons why I could have taken it. Maybe I wouldn't have been that profitable because it didn't really uptrend that much. At least the bid didn't uptrend that much. Maybe if I were to have tried to have sold on the way up here, it would get executed on the ask. But I think this could have been something that I could have traded though. Let's look at NICH. I did trade this one, and it was a little annoying trading this one because it was very jumpy with a wide spread, kind of like VAPR, and this was like a first dip under VWAP setup. Also a bull flag. It had a nice spike from this 31 level as high as this 51. So that's a lot of range, right? And then when it started the downtrend, I drew a trend line that was following it, and it got below VWAP, the red line. And once it started to break past the trend line and it was showing that it was trying to reverse, I did get in, but I wanted to be in at a better price, like this 42 level or this 425 level. But what happened is you can see right here, there's a tiny gap. It had a jump, and I don't like when it does stuff like that, that it just trades with a wide spread. And it just, is very, I guess quick, right? It wasn't very ideal. I did get in though, because I'd rather be in at a not so ideal price than to miss out on the setup. I was in at 10, 12, 2,500 shares at 434, and that was right here. 434 is when I got in, right about right here. Again, I would have been happier if I was in at this 42 level, or maybe 42 and a half, but that was impossible. I wanted to wait for more confirmation, and when it just jumped on air, that was like, okay, that's a little too much. But I did get in it, and I sold super quickly because I just don't like how it just started to spike up like it did. I wanted it to be something slow and gradual. Ideally, if you look at a longer period of time, it looks like something that can uptrend for more than just one day. Here's one where I only did one day, had a big wick and it sold off, but you can see how I had right here a day, and then I had a second day where it opened higher. This was a nice uptrend. This was a follow-up uptrend especially when it broke this level at 36.20. And it does show that it can uptrend for more than one day. So I thought, I had this big spike, it's selling off and everything. It's going to reverse ideally. And then, it can maybe uptrend over a longer period of time, put up higher lows, and maybe even break the day high and end up much stronger. But that wasn't the case, at least when it was just happening too fast. I thought this was not going to be sustainable, so I did sell the same minute actually. I sold 1,000 shares at 453. Again, I was in right here at 434, and I sold some at 453, right around right here, and then I sold the 1,500 remaining shares at 45, and that was that point right here. It did get as high as 47. Although that would have been a bit harder because that would have been a sell at the ask. And yeah, if I waited maybe a minute more, I could have sold some in the 46s. But I don't mind that too much because I just didn't like how quick and ugly this thing was. And yeah, that was pretty much the case with that one. VAPR, it did do like a double bottom. I think I was showing this the last time I recorded. It did do it, but it did like have a little dip below it, which wasn't ideal, and then it had another dip below this round 5 cent level. Maybe this could have been something I could have taken, but again, I don't like this one because it just makes me feel like it's going to sell off immediately the second day, but it's actually holding a lot better than what I thought. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. I'll make an update later. I am up on the day just a little bit. I did have that loss with AABB way back here, and I did have that profitable trade with NICH right here, and I could have been in theory trading an in at 24 with GXXY. It looks like maybe it would have been possible to sell in the 26s, even though like the bid never catches up. This is like weird the way it trades, but this could have been another trade as well. Okay, it is 10:13 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be up on the day just a little bit, $2.10, and that was because I did have an L right here with AABB. It was a scratch, it didn't work out. And then I did trade this one, which worked out, but again, I would have liked if I were to have been in at a better price. And I think I needed to have more shares on this one too. I did hesitate on GXXY, and this was actually pretty profitable. It got as high as this almost 35 levels. So an entry at 24 would have been super profitable. Now, who knows when I would have gotten out? Maybe in the 26s when it was trading there for a pretty long time. And in some of these, they might just uptrend a little bit and then they immediately sell off too. But this one did continue much more, and this was pretty impressive. It could have been a much more profitable trade if I were to have traded that one, but ideally, God willing, in the future, if I see the same setup, I should be able to take it. Other than that, that's pretty much it. That's all I have for today. And yeah, plenty of lessons learned. Even though I wasn't a part of this one, I'm glad it worked out. And, in the next one, I'll be able to ideally trade it and continue on from there.